Welcome to Just Asia, AHRC TV's weekly human rights program. These are the headlines. International Women's Day. Activists call for gender equality in Indonesia. Thailand's Human Rights Commissions honor 10 women activists. Indian activist discusses work on gender violence and equality. First Hindu woman parliamentarian elected in Pakistan. Rights activists assaulted by female police officer in Nepal. Urgent appeals from India and the Philippines. Welcome to AHRC TV's Just Asia. I'm Alexandra. This week, Just Asia focuses on International Women's Day, celebrated annually on March 8th. The day is an opportunity to reflect on progress made, to call for change, and to celebrate acts of courage and determination by ordinary women in the development of their communities. It is also an opportunity to consider how to achieve gender equality, empower all women and girls, and ensure inclusive and quality education for all. These are key targets of the 2030 Agenda, which also includes ending violence and discrimination against women and girls. This year, International Women's Day comes on the heels of unprecedented global movement for women's rights, equality, and justice. Sexual harassment, violence, and discriminations against women has captured headlines and public discourse, propelled by rising determination for change. According to UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres, achieving gender equality and empowering women and girls is the unfinished business of our time and the greatest human rights challenge in our world. In Indonesia, women rights activists from various civil society organizations organized peaceful protests and discussions to commemorate International Women's Day. During the rally, women activists called on the government to review discriminatory laws and regulations in order to achieve gender equality. They also noted that violence against women, particularly migrant workers, continue to be a problem. The recent murder of migrant worker Adeline in Malaysia has spotted this issue. Indonesia has numerous national and local regulations containing discriminatory provisions against women, such as the pornography law, Aceh's Sharia law, and a local regulation in Tangerang prohibiting women's activities at night. Activists are also calling on the government to block certain provisions in the criminal code that violate private freedoms. These discriminatory laws, together with local patriarchal traditions that give power and authority to men, continue to be an obstacle in furthering gender equality in the country, despite the government requiring 30% parliamentarian being women. Gender equality in many government offices is a serious issue. During the rally, participants had their own posters depicting various issues relating to women's rights. There was a discussion at the Jakarta Legal Aid Office, where local products produced by women's organizations and other vulnerable groups were displayed. Thailand's National Human Rights Commission awarded honor prizes to 10 women on the occasion of International Women's Day, celebrating their work in protecting and promoting fundamental rights in the country. The women activists were from various fields, including public services, media, civil society, and NGOs. Several prominent human rights defenders were associated with the event held on Wednesday, such as Mrs. Akana Nilapajit, a National Human Rights Commissioner, Mr. Fifi Mutabon, an international human rights expert and professor of law at Chulalongkorn University, and Ms. Katia Chirizi, an acting deputy representative at the UN's OHCHR regional office. These serve to be drawn significant public and media attention. Just Asia speaks to one of the prize winners, Ms. Supaporn Malailoy, the Manager of Enlaw Foundation, regarding her views on challenges facing women in Thailand.
การทำงานด้านสิทธิชนในพื้นที่ภาคประชาชนเนี่ยที่ลุกขึ้นมาต่อสู้หรือปกป้องสิทธิชุมชน สิทธิในการมีชีวิตอยู่ในสิ่งแวดล้อมที่ดีเนี่ยค่ะในปัจจุบันเนี่ยโดนเจ้าหน้าที่รัฐหรือว่านโยบายที่เบ็ดเสร็จเด็ดขาดโดยการออกกฎหมายเองหรือว่าการกำหนดนโยบายโดยที่ไม่มีการมีส่วนร่วมนะคะเข้าไปพัฒนาในพื้นที่แล้วก็ใช้กลไกอำนาจทางกฎหมายเพื่อให้เกิดกระบวนการลัดขั้นตอนทำให้เกิดโครงการต่างๆที่ละเมิดสิทธิมนุษยชนเนี่ยจำนวนมากเพราะฉะนั้นเนี่ยการทำงานของตัวเองที่ทำงานอยู่บนพื้นฐานสนับสนุนการใช้เสรีภาพของภาคประชาชนหรือว่าสิทธิชุมชนเนี่ยก็เป็นความท้าทายว่าทำอย่างไรเราจะเอาเครื่องมือทางกฎหมายเนี่ยค่ะไปให้ความรู้กับภาคประชาชนแล้วก็ยังคงลุกขึ้นมาใช้เสรีภาพการแสดงออกหรือว่าการใช้สิทธิชุมชนในการต่อสู้เพื่อปกป้องบ้านเมืองหรือว่าต่อสู้เพื่ออยู่ในสิ่งแวดล้อมที่ดีได้ต่อไปโดยที่เขาเองเนี่ยจะต้องลดความเสี่ยงว่าเมื่อลุกขึ้นสู้แล้วทำยังไงเขาจะไม่โดนคดีหรือว่าไม่โดนคุกคามต่อไปหลังจากที่ลุกขึ้นมาต่อสู้แล้วเราเองเราก็มีบทบาทในการที่จะสนับสนุนการใช้สิทธิ์แต่ว่าส่วนหนึ่งก็ต้องคำนึงว่าการใช้สิทธิเสรีภาพของภาคประชาชนนั้นเนี่ย
Next, in India, Just Asia speaks to AHRC's desk officer, Urmila Pulat, on her work as a gender rights activist and lawyer. Running the website project How Revealing is an online repository for people to share experiences of sexual assault and gender-based violence. Starting in January 2017, the website serves as a safe space for people to let it out of the system. On International Women's Day 2018, Urmila discusses the significance of the project and what she has learned in the 1 year of its existence.
How Revealing is a safe online space for people to share experiences of sexual assault and sexism and gender-based violence from across India and now from around the world. The reason that I began this is that I realized that a lot of friends and family go through experiences of gender-based violence that happen so often that they felt that there was no value in talking about it, or that they were ashamed, guilty, embarrassed, scared, apathetic, etc. to do so. And one of the main reasons that's cross-cutting across these multitude of emotions is the constant victim blaming and shaming that takes place. Constantly hearing that one is partly or wholly responsible for being assaulted. So the idea was to create a safe space where people can share these experiences, to be able to fill the information vacuum that exists because of the severe underreporting that surrounds sexual assault. So we realized that all of this shame, this culture of silence and stigma that surrounds the issue of sexual violence extends to our criminal justice system. And this is where the project crosscuts with my work as India Desk Officer at the HRC. How do we find solutions to make it easier for women to disclose experiences of sexual assault? How can we tweak our criminal justice system to better receive the disclosure when women come and report with more sensitivity and more clarity? Over the last 1 year, what I have understood and what I have learned is that the solution to gender disparity and gender-based violence is significantly limited because it is seen as a women's issue. The main challenge is to reframe it, for it to contribute towards changing the narrative to make it everyone's issue. Crucially for me, the issue must become something that men internalize as their issue as well, and not one where they are involved in making efforts to protect women or sympathize with them when they go through instances of gender-based violence. And a big reason for this is the lack of information and a lack of empathy that is there due to the shroud of silence and stigma that surrounds the issue. And I hope the How Revealing project is able to contribute to dispelling this. Solutions to gender-based violence must become everybody's issue. We must fix this together, and this is not something that must fall disproportionately on women.
Moving to Pakistan, a Hindu woman from a lower caste has been elected to the Senate for the first time in the Muslim-majority country. The election of Krishna Kumari, a 39-year-old human rights activist and member of the Pakistan People's Party over the weekend, is seen as a landmark moment for Pakistan's generally oppressed religious minority, especially Hindus. Pakistan's treatment of its religious minorities is dismal, with an increase in religious intolerance in recent years. Religious minorities face routine violence and discriminations, and live in fear for their lives and property. The election of Ms. Kumari to the Senate is remarkable in this context, and the Pakistan People's Party has presented it as an example of the party's liberal credential and importance it gives to religious minorities. Although Hindus have previously been elected to the country's parliament, Ms. Kumari is the first Hindu Dalit woman to be elected. In Nepal, rights activist Ms. Ambaya Khatang was kicked in her stomach and chest by a female police officer stationed at the Rohtahat District Court. Ms. Khatang was trying to assist Mrs. Salimu Nasha Khatang, who wanted to go to a courtroom to witness the court proceeding relating to the killing of her grandson. The female officer denied the two women entry to the court on February 24th, which prompted an argument. The female police officer foul-mouthed and kicked Ms. Ambaya Khatang in her stomach and chest, resulting in her falling into a drain. The police officer also manhandled Mrs. Salimu and twisted her hands. Ms. Ambaya Khatang has been admitted at the hospital as is in serious condition as she has undergone uterus surgery 2 years ago. Just Asia speaks to Ms. Khatang for further information.
घरेलू हिंसा हमनी महिला का कोनो सास बन के कोनो ननद बन के कोनो समय अपने संभार अपने घर वाली के जहर भी खिया देवलै फांसी भी दे देवलै तलाक के बारे में तिलक जैसे कोनो के गरीब के बेटी है तिलक न देवे सकलै ओ के बारे में महिला पर बहुत अत्याचारी करैत है शोषण दैत है तो हमनी सारा महिला मिल के एकता होके हमनी नारी दिवस हमनी मनावे छी ऐसे समाज के लेल हमनी सहयोग करे छी जनता में सब नारी दीदी बहनी से हमनी शक्तिशाली होके कहिले अब शोषण में न रहू हमनी अपना शक्ति से आगे कैसे बढ़बै.
Finally, the Urgent Appeals Weekly features 2 cases from India and the Philippines. In India, a human rights defender from Manipur, Nobu Uringkamban, has been facing harassment and military surveillance for his work to protect the rights of indigenous people. In the Philippines, residents and trade unionists of banana plantations affiliated to the May 1st labor movement have been tagged by the military as New People's Army (NPA) rebel group supporters and are being summoned to military camps to clear their names. That is all for this episode of Just Asia. For more on this and other issues, please visit www.humanrights.asia or www.alrc.asia/justasia. Thank you for watching and see you next week.